Hello everyone, it's Gina. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Since Thanksgiving is over, that means we are full on into the Christmas season. So with that in mind, today's project will be using Christmas papers. And I've been playing around with making these little booklets. I'll take you through each one because they are a little different. And then we will make one that will even be another variation. These are no-sew projects, as is the one we'll do today. For those of you who don't sew, this is a fun, easy way to make a cute booklet. So I hope you stick around and join me for this. And before we get started, if you've watched several of my videos and enjoy the content of my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. And definitely give me the thumbs up to show me that you appreciate my efforts and my projects. And as always, I would love for you to leave comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you find the information useful, is it something new, or do you have your own special twist that you'd like to share? Now, let's get started. Here is the very first one that I made. As you can see, I created a little spine. This spine is a 1/2 inch. And the paper I used was not very heavy duty. It wasn't particularly strong, so I did do a couple of things to reinforce the spine and the edges. But first, let me just take you through and show you what all this little booklet has to offer. So on the front, we have a pocket, and we have some tags. Now there's also a side pocket, little secret pocket there. Located right behind this pocket, so it's hidden. We have our papers in the middle, which, as you can see, you just slide them under. They aren't sewn, they aren't bound in any way, just held on by the stretch cord. And in the back, we have the same thing, but in reverse. So we have a pocket, some tags, and then a little hidden pocket in the back. Because this paper was weak, I did use some washi tape, and I put around the edges and around the spine just to make it a little stronger. For my pages, I just used some coffee dyed paper, and then I threw in this little cutoff of some Christmas paper. I decorated the front with a little strip of lace, a little torn piece of Christmas paper. You can see where I inked the edges, and then of course a little ho-ho-ho that came from one of my Christmas kits. And that's the first one. Now for the second one, I scaled things back a bit. There are no pockets, and the spine is only 1/4 inch, but they're held together just like the other one with some stretch cord. And this is just a super simple, quick and easy way to make a little pad. And actually, I've got room, so I could go in and add a little pocket. It just, the piece of paper that I used, it just worked out to the other side, had these card cutouts, and it just kind of fit perfectly. So I didn't want to add a pocket that would obstruct the pretty images that were on the paper. So I thought I'll just leave it as is. This one I also did use some washi tape to help reinforce the spine. I did that inside and out. Since I didn't add a pocket, there probably is not really a need for a spine, so I could have just folded the paper over, creased it, and made it just like that without having to create the spine. There really was no need to do that. So that's the second one I made. The measurements for these are, this one ended up being 4 3/4 by 4 1/4. So not quite a square. And this one ended up being almost 4 1/2 by 2 3/4. I do want to tell you, for this project, you will need a eyelet setter, whether it's the crocodile or some other form of eyelet setter. You will need a special tool for this project. I have cut a piece of pretty paper in some very thick cardstock. It measures 5 inches by 6 1/2 inches. We are going to create a spine for this one. And I realized I probably should have adjusted the width of my paper because of what I want to do by adding the eyelet in the spine. I wanted to keep the spine smaller, so I originally wanted to make it 1/4 inch, but 1/4 of an inch will not hold a 3/8 inch eyelet. So herein lies my problem. I'm going to go ahead and do my scoring. Chances are when I put it together, one side's going to be longer than the other, and I'll probably have to do some trimming. But let's go ahead and get started. Half of 6 1/2 is 3 1/4. Let me put you a little closer. Normally, if you're going to make a 1/4 inch spine, you find your center, you go one little slot to the left, back to center, and one little slot to the right. And that makes a 1/4 of an inch spine. I need it to be 3 of these. I'm going to score at the 3-inch mark because 3 1/4 is my middle, and I'm going to have to go over 2 on one side. So I'm just going to go over 2 and score on the 3-inch mark. Okay, and then from my center mark at 3 1/4 inch, I'll go to the right one spot. That gives me 1, 2, 3. Paper's got something weird going on. All right, hold on. Let me try it yet again. All right, here we go. That was weird. Kept swerving me over this way. Okay, let's go ahead and get our bins where we scored. Make sure that they line up. And we'll burnish that down. Make sure they line up. Burnish this side. All right. So when we pop it up like this and make it into our little book, you can see I've got some overhang. So I'm going to go and trim that and be right back. For this little notebook, I do want to add pockets. So I've already cut them and inked them. They are 2 inches high by just about 3 inches, maybe just a hair shy. And I went ahead and inked around the main cover, and I also did the creases in the spine as well, just to make it pop out a little bit. Now I inked them with 2 different inks. I first used the Vintage Photo. It gives it the nice dark brown aged look, but then I went over that with some aged mahogany. And what that did was just give it that dark red, and having the Vintage Photo under it made it even darker. I just really like how it came out. I think it's real pretty, and it kind of ties into the dark red of the berries. So now I just need to glue in my pockets. I did round the top corners of my pockets. I used it on the small. Just going to use some art glitter glue and glue these in. I had to take this one off because I remembered that one of my pockets is just a tad bit shorter than the other, well, a tad bit more narrow, because this bottom hole was not quite centered. You see, it kind of goes just a little bit to the left, which when you flip it over means a little bit to the right. And so I shortened one of them so that when I lined it up at the edge, it didn't interfere with the inside, how it splayed when I pressed it. And I put the wrong pocket in the wrong spot. So I had to take that off really quickly because art glitter glue adheres super fast. So let's do this again. And as you can see, it doesn't interfere. Now for the other pocket. Now that the pockets are on, let's figure out what papers we want to put in. The paper I chose was some lightly coffee stained paper. They measure 5 1/2 wide by about 4 1/4 inches high. Now I did go ahead and add a couple of the offshoots, the scraps for where I cut the paper. And so there's a couple of those in here. So now I have my paper, and it looks like it fits pretty well in between my eyelets. Now I just need to add my cord. I've used the red and I've used the white on the other 2 booklets, so I believe I'll go with the green. Okay, and I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to measure pretty much like you would with a 3-fold pamphlet stitch. I'm going to go 3 times the height. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'll feed 1 in through the top, 1 in through the bottom. And now I'm going to just tie a knot. I'm going to check it. I want to make sure it's fairly taut because it needs to hold my papers in. But the eyelets should help protect the paper from tearing. And that's why I had to reinforce the spine on both of my other makes, especially this one. See how you can see that? It's kind of tearing into the paper, and I don't want that. And that's why I had the idea to use the eyelets. Now to hold that in place, I'm going to use a little bit of the Fabri-Tac. I'm going to just put it right around the knot to help bind it together. Now I want to slide in my papers. I didn't cut very many. I probably should put a few more pages in because this little booklet can definitely handle more than just like 4 pages. So let me go cut a few more. All right, since the paper I cut is a little bit darker, I'm going to pull these out and intermingle them. So that is the basic construction of this quick little no-sew notebook. Now I do like the eyelets in here. It really makes it easy. You can slide this around and make your little ends be wherever you want them to. You might want to trim them. Maybe that's too much. Maybe you want to have them at the top. And if you have some type of charm, you can add some charms to them. I don't have any, but the rest is just up to you to decorate. You can always add the pocket up top like I did in the first one. If you have an extra little piece or any kind of piece of paper that would look nice, you could just glue that down and then add another little tuck spot. So that's an option. And even though this is a gorgeous front, I do want to put a little something on. I found this Merry Christmas that I had stamped. I think that would look nice. Just something simple, but I want to put something behind it. You know what? I changed my mind. I looked at this, and while I do like it, it seems almost a little bit big, and I think I want to go a little smaller. And so I found this Merry and Bright. I know it's a little bit reflective, but it's not super in your face. It's just enough to make it look just a little special. I think I want to put just some material behind it. Let's see, is that too heavy? Might be too heavy. Change my mind again. Maybe just some gauze. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that and keep it really simple. Okay, now I do think I'm going to cut this one back a little bit because it's kind of getting on my nerves. Okay, that's better. Oh, that's cute. Do we want to do anything on the inside pockets? I want to do something, but I want to kind of keep it simple. I had this poinsettia stamp, and I think what I'm going to do is just to stamp on it. And I will use the Aged Mahogany Distressed Oxide. I'm going to do a test stamp first. Looks like I missed a little bit there. I want to make sure I can get a good clear image. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Oh, isn't that pretty? Oh, I love that. Goes with the stripes. It's very subtle, but very pretty. Oh, that's so cute. Maybe I'll go ahead and do it in the back as well. So pretty. Oh, I love it. Now, we might want to put some tags in, like this. Let's see. Fit one in the back. Go. And, well, I call them tags, but I didn't cut the corners, but that's okay. Now, if you don't like the papers just flailing open like that, maybe you're writing your Christmas list of presents for people and you don't want people just to be able to see them. You could always take one of those circle paper clips. I've got a video on those. You can just paper clip them together like that. And the same thing with your book. As you use it, it'll end up laying down. But until then, you know, you can always just paper clip the edge of that as well and paper clip it together. And it probably won't take many times of doing that before it just lays flat. You can always use it on the inside. So yeah, these are just super handy. Of course, you can always go through and lay your papers down and do some stamping of some Christmas words and images, or you can always ink around the edges. The possibilities are endless. You know how it is when it comes to decorating. You could just go crazy. Looking at it though, I did ink the outside, but I did not ink the inside. And you can see the inking on the pockets, and I think it would just help to give it a finished look if I went ahead and inked around there. All right, there you go. I think it turned out super cute. This would make a great stocking stuffer, especially if you have a child or a friend or a teacher or anyone that you know likes to journal, likes to make notes, or you just want to make something really cute and handmade as a special gift to someone that's special to you. I hope you enjoyed today's project. If you did, again, I'd love it if you gave me that thumbs up. And please leave a comment. That helps out my channel so very much. And if you've not subscribed yet, I would love it if you press that subscribe button. That would be fantastic. All right, well, that's going to be it for this one. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.